Okay. So let's talk about this. And then, like I said, I will split you into your breakup rooms, except for people who are not responding to my messages. You guys will stay and talk to me. All right. So these are the required components. Some of them are completely recognizable to you. Okay, good. And I need your response then. So the title page is exactly the same one that we had for assignment 1. The difference is going to be the actual title, because the actual title will have to be a claim, right? Everybody with me? A claim is a statement that connects two variables, the predictive variable and the response variable. So when you go into your groups, assuming that your observation plan has been approved, you can start with the title page, and first thing you'll do, you will put two variables together and try to connect them with a verb that is a linking verb, not a causal, right? Because you are doing an association claim, not a causal claim. Again, that's the only difference. It's going to be something that connects to variables. Otherwise, it's exactly the same information. You will have a page number in the header, nothing else, no running head. Then you will have about a third page down, you will have the title, which should be in boldface with all content words in capital letters. Then 2 enters down, you will have your names. Your names have to be in the alphabetical order of your last names. You cannot change that, and you cannot change the order that your research article authors chose to present their work with. Okay, then we'll come to lines down, your affiliation. Your affiliation has 3 components. It has the department, the college, and the university. And then come the pieces of information that have to do with the course. So the course number and its title, my name, and the date. That's it. You're done with the title page. So if you have done it correctly for assignment 1, all you have to do is change the title. Then you're going to click Control Enter. Is everybody writing it down? You don't use Enter to move to the next page. You use Control Enter. Okay? There it's going to be your abstract, and we'll talk about it next. It's, again, some of you had it, some of you didn't. I didn't do anything about your abstracts because they were so they were not that good, so it would have pulled your grade significantly down. I talk about content. I looked, of course, at whether it was 120 words, which is an APA requirement, but I didn't do anything much about your abstracts. So here, the abstract will be, remember, abstract is always about your work. It's not about anybody else's work. You can only mention your research article if it's useful in the first sentence, and that's it, and you're done. Everything else is about you. Then you're going to click Control Enter. You're going to go into the introduction, which is going to be on the new page, just like the abstract. Remember that the title has to be repeated at that page. So it's going to be page 3. Then comes the introduction. Your introduction now is going to be a little bit different, and we'll talk about it next. And then come the 3 new components that you did not have in your assignment 1. You have method, results, and discussion, and you finish your assignment 1 also on a new page, Control Enter, with references. Your references page will have minimum 1 article. That's the one that you found, and I looked at it for those people who sent me the stuff. Or you can have more than 1, obviously. If you have found a couple of others that are useful and you would like to use them, perfect. So you'll have 3. So now let's go through these components in more detail. Okay, just to remind you that we are using 5 levels of heading. You will only have 2. okay? Level 1, okay? And level 2. So don't look, let me use my trusty pen. These do not apply to you because you don't have so much information. These are the only two that you have. So if you are using the word introduction, which you don't have to because it's optional, it's going to be centered and bold. The next is going to be method, which is required. You have to have it, which will also be centered and bold. So level 1, introduction, method, results, discussion, reference, well, abstract. Abstract, introduction, method, results, discussion, references. These are headings level 1. And only in the method, okay, you will have 3 headings level 2. Okay, I'm not very good at mouse writing, so I'm slow. So in the method, you will have 3 level 2 headings: participants, design and materials, and procedure. Okay, so we'll continue. And they will be formatted by being flushed left, bold, title case. Again, all this is all posted. You have it. And if you learned how to do it right in assignment 1, there's nothing new except that you're going to get different headings from what you had in assignment 1. In assignment 1, you had a choice to use a heading and not to use a heading. Here, you don't have a choice. You have to do what APA style requires us to do. Again, let's go through the title page. You have the page number, 5 spaces before the end of the line in the header, and it has to be in Times Roman. Please check, because the Word will, or your Google Doc will make it either Calibri or Arial. Neither of those, the fonts that we're using. We're only using Times Roman. Now recall that the title cannot be longer than 12 words, so it should be reasonable. Here I say 2, of course it could be 3 if there is 3 of you in the group. And here is our affiliation, right? These are the 3 components: Department of Psychology, the College of Staten Island of the City University of New York, because that's where you study. And then the course information. Again, nothing new here, so I don't want to waste any more time on that. Abstract. Let me go over it again, because this time I will look at the content. Again, it starts on the new page, and it should be numbered as 2, of course. It should be created only by using Control-Enter. If you start doing it by hitting Enter, anything that gets changed on the previous page will push your text down, which is not APA style. Okay, so it's heading level 1, so it's going to be centered and on boldface. It's only 1 word, so it's going to be capitalized. Only 1 paragraph, maximum 120 words. And here is what's in it in terms of content. It's the purpose. So you introduce your, I say article here, but you introduce your work, your study, your observations, observational study. So you have to start with a claim. You have to say what your claim is. And if you already have it in the title, it's going to be easy, right? And it needs to be, both variables should be in there so people know what you're going to be talking about. Then you're going to give us 1 sentence on the method. The design is important. 1, maybe 2 sentences on the results, and then 1 or 2 sentences on the discussion. That's it. You're done. You always write it at the last moment, because you can't write it until you have written everything else. Okay, so this is the information. like I say, 6 to 8 sentences, depending on whether you write short or long sentences. And the easiest way to do it is just by pulling sentences out of the 4 components: introduction, method, results, and discussion. Okay, so your claim will come from the introduction or from the title. The method will be your variables and how you manipulated them. If you did, it's an observational study, so have to think about it. How many people you observed. If you did 30, you'll say 30. If you did more, then you'll say more. Then you'll say what the results are. And that comes, remember, from the 3rd question in the observation plan. What did you expect to find? Women are more likely to cross their legs. So here you would say, and we found that women were crossing, well, women crossed their legs more than men. Basically, that's one sentence, but you can expand on it a little bit. And then you have a little bit of a discussion. So you have to, a little bit, a sentence. You can see that this, because your stuff is so simple, it's going to be actually not so easy because you have so little stuff to talk about. So, but this has to be the very last thing before you submit your assignment 2. Who remembers when assignment 2 is due? Yeah, or December 3rd if could be before the class. Okay, good. December 3rd by the time the class starts, which means it's just going to be one more week before the end of the semester. So we have, today's what, the 29th? We have a month. That's why I'm pushing you to collect your data so that we have a little bit of time to analyze data and to talk about it. And remember, we're losing one Thursday for Thanksgiving, which means we won't have too many Thursdays that we can use to work through assignment 2. Okay, great. Now, I mentioned it before, but I want to repeat myself again, that we could think about our writing, and in this case, I'm interested in psychology, but it doesn't matter. We are writing at 3 levels. The level that we ultimately care about is the level of the message. That's where we communicate what we did to our readers. And it's called macro because it's the biggest one. But you don't get there from sentences. You get to that level through paragraphs. That's why I keep pushing you to think about paragraphs and to use what I call a square paragraph rule. Because your paragraphs are the ones that lead us to finally understand your paper. Now, if you have taken, of course, most of you did, English 111, English 151, I don't know what they taught you there, probably the 5-paragraph format. Okay. This is just the beginning. It's just a start. Once you understand how paragraphs work, you can write in very different paragraphs, different formats, but you will still have to pay attention to the paragraphs because that's where we get most information. And they have to be consistent in their length and in their structure. If they're very different, it creates this discombobulated text that people hate. And I'm sure you've seen enough of such texts from other classes. And the least that we are concerned with is the sentence level. Yeah, they should be well worded and grammatically correct. And just from my previous experience, I haven't seen a good assignment where sentence level was neglected. That is, if people write badly in terms of sentences, they don't seem to write well at the paragraph level. So yes, if you clean up your act for the paragraphs, you will clean up your act for sentences. Now you can take advantage of the fact there's 3 of you, right? So if you're going to be writing different components, then the best thing you can do, and I'll try to provide you with that time, is to get together and read through the components that were not written by you, but by your group mates, and then collectively clean it up. Reading out loud is the best thing you can do. It's funny to say that in college, but that's We all do that. Okay. So if you have a few things that are problematic at the sentence level, I will disregard that as long as everything else is good. But again, like I said, these things go hand in hand. So paragraph level is the one that you have to pay attention to. So here's my square paragraph rule again. Your paragraph, remember everything is double spaced, should be about half a page, maybe long, half a page long, maybe sometimes down to 2/3 on a double spaced page. Now, many, if not all of you, lost points on that in assignment 1 because you would just ramble forever for 2 pages. You can't do that. Your paragraph can only have 1 point and 1 point only. If you have 2 points, you have to have 2 paragraphs. But each paragraph has to be well formed. It has to have the 3 required components. Let's see what they are. Okay, these are the components. You have to have a transition in the first paragraph. Funny because there may be no transition because you're just opening your paper. And that transition could be as simple as one word or a term or a whole sentence. So things like, okay, well, let's see if somebody can suggest what could be words that will serve as transitions in your writing. Type them into the chat. In contrast to, okay, yep, good. However, yes, perfect, yeah, you're still contrasting. Next, in addition, good. All of these things will work. They're just words. You could also use the repetition. So let's say you're talking about, leg crossing behavior, and you would say in the first paragraph something about the norms in terms of how women and men are not required, but are expected to behave in public. So that comes, although, okay, good. That comes from the times, especially when women were more restricted in the kind of clothing that they were using. If you're wearing a skirt, you are less likely, well, you're more likely perhaps to cross your legs. So you could introduce the idea that there are behavioral norms that depend on clothing. And once you say that, the word legs is introduced into your first paragraph, then you can repeat that in your first sentence of the second paragraph, giving us that glue that connects the second one to the first one. And then you will have your transition followed by what we call a key sentence, the sentence that does the work in your paragraph, followed by maybe 2 or 3 sentences that will expand on the key sentence. We call them evidence. Okay, so you should actually count your sentences and see if you are within that box, so to speak, of 6 to 8 sentences. And if your key sentences are good, so they move you from one paragraph to the next, you have the logic structure of your text that your readers will appreciate because they love reading good stuff that's written well. Okay. Introduction, that you already are familiar with a little bit because you did some kind of introduction for assignment 1. All I'm saying here is that these are the paragraphs where you can really apply the square paragraph rule. Okay, so this is just to show you that you could probably be done with 4 sentences minimum, or 6 to 8 sentences is maximum, as long as you are no longer than 2/3 of a page, but half a page is more or less appropriate. Now, you have to have at least 3 paragraphs in your introduction. And the paragraphs are designed in such a way as to narrow our readers' attention to the topic. So we are thinking of sort of an hourglass shape. So the first paragraph is a very general one. Like, again, I'm using my leg crossing behavior as an example. We don't really care immediately about leg crossing. What we care about is that there are norms of behavior for men and women. Okay, so that's the general topic. Then you can say that when it comes to clothing, these norms in public used to require women to be very discreet. Therefore, if not forcing them, but encouraging them to cross their legs when they sit down. Okay, so now you're going to go into the second paragraph where hopefully you have found an article. I call it primary source article here, but it's a research article that you can use to set up your study. It's not going to happen for everybody, but it is happening for some of the people, because I've seen research articles for several groups, and I approve them. I think they will work. And so this paragraph is not about you. It's not about your observation study. It's about what was done before you, hopefully helping you. But if it's not there, you can continue. You can create and run 2 general paragraphs, but the second one has to be narrower in the topic than the first one. And finally, the third one is going to be your research hypothesis and your predictions. That is the stuff that's in your observation plan in the first 2, is it 2 questions or 3 questions, whatever it is. The research statement, research question, and predictions. So you will say, we have conducted an observation with the claim that, and we predicted that. And that's going to be your paragraph 3. So your introduction should be about 1.5 pages up to 2 pages, no more than that, because of the square paragraph rule. So if it is just 1 page, it's not long enough. If it's more than 2 pages, it's too long. I can live with that as long as it's good reading. If it's something that is just on and on and on, rambling, I'm not going to be happy. There's too much to read. Okay. One important thing, and a lot of you had problems with that in assignment 1, is what we call the in-text citations. The in-text citations are the citations of these research articles, or article if you only have 1. And remember, there's only 2. You can either start the sentence with the person's name. It's called narrative citation. That's the stuff that's on the right. Okay. So you'll say Luna 2020 found, suggested, hypothesized, whatever this person did. Okay. And if it is more than 3 or more, you're going to use this format. So Martin et al. 2020. Okay. If you're going to write a sentence first saying that what was found in that study, blah, 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 then you're going to use what's called parenthetical citation, and you put the name or the names of authors at the end of the sentence in parentheses. That's why it's called parenthetical. So the only difference here is that here Martin or Luna are the agents of your sentence. And here they are just the source. So they are at the end. That's it. There's nothing else. There is no initials. There is no journal. There is no title of the paper. There is no saying the researcher, Jane Luna. None of that is APA. That's it. What you see is what you get. So don't lose points on something so simple as that. Again, it's posted for you on the Blackboard. Get rid of that. If you only have 1 article, you will have 1 paragraph. You will only need to do the citation once. Do it correctly. All right, now comes the new stuff. So here is your method. Remember, this is level 1 heading, so it's got to be centered boldface. And immediately you're going to go into heading level 2, which will be the word participants. Now, in the old days, we used the word subjects as well. Today, it is reserved only for animals in research. So if you're doing work with pigeons, if you go to site 333 later on, you'll be writing subjects. In this class, we're doing human participants research, so we're going to use the word participants. And this will have 3 or 4 sentences at the most. Okay, you will have to say how many. And if you're going to start with a number, anything that is a number will have to be spelled out. So if you say 30 participants were observed, you're going to write out the word 30. If it comes, you'll say the participants of the study were 30. That's going to be a number, because anything under above 10 within the sentence, not in the beginning, is spelled out, is not spelled out, is written as a number. And then you'll say, you know, in your case, 15 men, 15 women, whatever age approximately. If you were not interested in age, you'll have to kind of estimate it a little bit. Ethnicity, you may just want to say diverse ethnical and racial background, things like that. Which population was used for recruitment? Well, here you'll have to say how you decided to sample your participants. That is in a particular location, right? And what was the incentive for participation? None, because they don't know that they participated. They are being observed in the public setting. Okay, that's it. So maybe 3 sentences. And the word participants is flushed left, it's boldface, and it's capitalized, right? The second section, level 2, is design and materials. This is a little more engaging. I'm saying dependent and independent variables. Of course, you have predictor and response variables because you're not doing an experiment, you're doing an association stuff. Materials are, in your case, the coding scheme, right? Don't put it in as an Excel file, just describe it. Describe what you did. What was the task? You were looking at gender effect in leg crossing behavior. And how data were analyzed. This is something that I'm telling you, so you have to write it down, and I'll show it to you on one of the slides. You will say that the data were, remember the data is plural, the data were analyzed using a chi-square test. And chi is a Greek word. Well, it's a Greek letter actually, chi-square. That's how it's spelled. So don't write something else. We will spend some time talking a little bit about chi-square. It's a very easy test. So here, well, how many sentences are we talking about? Also, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. Not too many. 1 paragraph. And our final component, so would be component number 3, which is procedure. Now, you're not going to be using any software or hardware, but you will have to describe how you did it. So you settled on a particular location at a particular time, particular days. It took you were 3 people, 3 observers in the team. They observed. You're writing about this. You can actually use we, right? Because APA 7 allows us to use. Just don't use I, because it's 3 of you or 2 of you. It's never I, it's always we. You have to describe these steps in such a way as to allow us to replicate your study. So if I were to take your paper and give it to another group of students, they should be able to do exactly what you did. Okay, so physical steps are different from design, right? It's not about variables, it's about doing it. You use your phone to record your data, say so. If you use the clipboard with a piece of paper, say so. If it took you Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, say so. So here you have to come up with a little bit of a logic how to present it nicely. If you, people who are looking at manipulations that have to do with locations, let's say a particular cross walk or something, you could actually take a picture and put that in your design, not in the procedure, but in the previous section, design and materials. Materials, like I said, is going to be just your coding scheme. So of course, don't take pictures of people unless you're doing it from the back. But the location is fine. If people who are doing the biking study could take a picture of the biking lane, anything that will illustrate your point is always welcome. We readers like that. You're done with your method. So your method, about 3 to 4 paragraphs. So we're talking about a page and a half at the most, right? So now we are 3 pages of text. That's what we have. A page and a half introduction, a page and a half method. So now come the results. The results have these 3 things. Again, these are 3 paragraphs. They may be a little shorter than the introduction. So paragraph 1 is the repetition of paragraph 3 of the introduction. What was your hypothesis? What was your claim? What were your predictions? Okay. Paragraph 2 is going to be descriptive statistics. These are the 4 numbers that we just discussed. Okay. So you'll say out of 15 people, out of 15 men, 5 did not cross their legs and 10 did. Out of 15 women, 8 crossed their legs within 2 minutes of sitting down and 7 didn't. Really. Okay, when I say figure, we'll talk about it a little later. So having a figure would be really, really nice to have here. And I'll show you how to do that. And your final paragraph is going to be your chi-square, which I will show you in a minute. So you will say that the data were analyzed using chi-square test, and then you'll write an actual chi-square statement, which consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components. Okay? And then you have to explain that in words. And again, I'll show you how that is done. And that's how it's done. So here, my little example, I forgot about like crossing behavior. So I invented something else, which was how men and women carry books in the days when we were on campus. So you can carry your books sort of holding them in front of you, or you can carry your books holding them at the side. And here is the results. We conducted a chi-square test of independence. I'll tell you what that means. To investigate the relationship between gender and method of carrying textbooks. We found that there is a statistically significant relationship between gender and the way in which people carry their books. And the stuff is in red is what I call the statistical statement. Of course, it shouldn't be in red in your text, right? You understand that. I put the red here to catch your attention because you have to write a statement in this format. Again, we'll go over this a little bit later when you have your data. So don't panic if it all looks like Greek to you. It is Greek, actually, except for P. And this is the Greek letter chi, which is capital chi, and that's how we abbreviate chi. And now here's the sentence. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right, Rita. It is in the last paragraph of the results. Our data suggests that women are more likely to carry their books in the front, while men are more likely to carry books at their side. Your predictive variable, your response variables. Almost there. Hang on. Finally, we have the discussion, which is the hardest probably piece to write because it requires you to think beyond your hypothesis. Again, you are repeating what you have already done in the last paragraph of the introduction, the first paragraph of the results. You're saying, we confirmed or disconfirmed our hypothesis. Men were less likely to cross their legs than women. Maybe you can make it a little longer. Then the second paragraph will be there if you do have a good research article, the one that did almost what you did. And if you don't, you don't. There's nothing you can do. You can now tie up that to the first paragraph of your introduction or the second paragraph of your introduction if you have that article. So how similar are your results to the research article's results? How different are they? And if they are different, why? And the third one is about anything else, the limitations, applications, future directions. Why does it say directs? I don't know. The one thing that you shouldn't talk about is the sample size, because we already know, we talked about it on Tuesday, sample size is the least of our worries. Is there external validity? Can you extend your study to another group, another location, whatever else you can do? Is it useful if, again, somebody is looking at whether people who are on bicycles and people who walk interfere with each other? There is anything they could suggest to help them not do that? I already mentioned that in Germany, many of these bike lanes actually are on the sidewalk. They're just of different color. So especially tourists have no clue. They just walk right into the bike lane, and the German bicyclists are just ruthless. They'll run you over because everybody bikes in Germany. Okay, so here is a little bit of a language that I put in for you. A limitation of the present study was that the background, again, I've been just inventing these little studies, that background of each professor was simply handed to students as a part of the study. I guess there was some kind of idea that students can rate their professors based on a background information. Further research would be necessary too. Okay, so that's a potential extension of your study. Another direction of future research could examine whether students' own identity moderates their perception of blah, 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 blah. Finally, because we need to move on, references. Oops. And that I'll show you on a separate page. Where are we? We are here. Okay. No, I guess I closed it. So let me open, oops, sorry. Let me open it again and finish this. Close. Give me a second. Ah, there it is. Okay, good. So let's do that and then move on. Share. And let's go to APA references. I'll post it again for you guys to see. It's a little small. Let's make it bigger. Note that it is page 6 or whatever it's going to be. Here come the references. I am showing you a bunch. Really, the only one that you need is this one. Well, this one. I don't want to do. So here's one, or here is another one. These come from research articles. Okay. If your references don't look like this, you're going to lose points, because one of the important requirements of this course is for you guys to learn APA style. So the final component of all of them is this digital object identifier. That's the stuff in blue. And the reason why it is in blue, because it's actually a hot link. If you click on that, which I'm not going to do, you should be able to go to this article. This is its permanent address forever and ever, as long as we have the internet. Okay. Note that there are no breaks in between entries. Excel, Word loves adding 8 points in between. No, no, and no. APA is not it. Okay. And they look, this is Baldacchino, this is Hammer, this is McCrae, this is National Institute of Mental Health. It is alphabetical by the first last name of the first author. Do not ever change. So here is Hammer Melchush and Howard. Do not change it to Hammer, Howard, and Melchush. That's wrong. That's not how they decided to list themselves on this article. Note that the journal's title is in italics, so is the volume, not the issue, not the pages. Okay, I don't want to continue doing that because we need to move on to breakout groups. So people who have not received an approved observation plan from me have to do it now. So by the end, in half hour, you have to have something that I can sign. And so these are not necessarily that somebody is worse than anybody, it's just that I haven't signed it. So groups 1, 2, 3, 6, and 11. So these guys, you need to quickly do your observation plans. Groups 4, 5, 7, I'm sorry, not 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9, you guys are trying to write something. You just sent me something? Okay, good. So I'll look at it once I send you into your breakout rooms. You can, so groups that have approved plans, that is, you have my signature in it, you can start writing. So there's 3 of you. So write different components. Somebody writes a references page. Another one writes 1 paragraph of the introduction. Obviously, you don't have any results yet. Think about maybe writing a participants section of method. Do you guys understand what you will be doing? Uh-huh. When did you do that, Shalani? Did you just do it now? So I'll visit you about 10 minutes ago. Okay. Right. Of course, I couldn't look at it 10 minutes ago, could I? All right. So I am going to assign you to your groups. All right. Let me just close this, cancel, go away. Where is my list of you? Okay. That's not it. Okay. So now I can see the groups and I'm sending you, except for people that I need to talk to. You guys are not going to go anyway. You'll stay with me. All right. Here we go. Okay, breakout rooms. I'm going to create 11 of those and I will assign people manually. Okay, group 1 is Jasmine, Rita, and Seaver. Okay. Group 2, I'm going to open all the rooms so you can go. Okay. Where is my list? It's going to be easier. Okay, here we go. All right, Alma. Group 6. Callista. Group. I should know that by now. 8. Shalani. Group 6. Chijima. Group 10. Gigi. Group 8, I assume, right? Okay, Edgar staying. Let's see. Eileen, group 5. Irving is staying. Jenny is 7. Oops. Oh, I don't know. Who did I send to 7? All right, Jeremiah is 3. Okay, Lewis. Lewis 9. Milana. 5. Monica. 7. Norma. Norma is group 2, right? Yeah, okay. 2. Romain Sadiru is group 3. Stephanie is group 3. Tara is group 2. Terence is there's Terence. 9. Thomas is also 9, right? Thomas 9. Tyrell is 10. Vanessa 5. Victoria 8. All right, let me just double check. Mm-hmm. 6. Who are we missing for group 6? Shalani, Alma, and Lisbeth. I don't see Lisbeth. 9. Shajima didn't join. Okay. Okay, so you guys, oh, Chijima hasn't joined. Chijima, please join your group. The rest of you, okay. Oh, Edgar, I'm sorry, I missed you somehow. You are group 10, okay. Group 10. Okay, good. So Irving and Joanna in particular, okay. I cannot send you anywhere with assignment 2 because I do not have your revised assignment 1, and today was the deadline. So because you're in the same boat, I'm addressing both of you. And actually Romain has the same problem, right? Romain, yep. So all 3 of you cannot start assignment 2 without submitting November 3rd. It's your data collection is November 3rd. I need you to start doing revised assignment 1. And I sent you multiple messages, all 3 of you. Irving emailed me saying that, yes, I got you, but hasn't done anything. So, no, we can't wait. Can I submit it to you tomorrow? Joanna, did you receive my instructions? Okay, so you know what you're doing. The problem is if you start doing it that late, you're running out of time. So, Romain, even if it were perhaps due on November 3rd, before I can accept the first few steps of assignment number 1, I need to see them. Okay, Joanna, tomorrow is something that I will receive from you. So I'm going to send you, which you are in group 4, right, with Irving. So let me assign you to group 4. You can start writing.
See before it's submitted because I was under the impression when I read the emails to November 3rd.
Romain, there is so little time. You think you can do all the steps in assignment in my instructions and have them all perfect by November 3rd, then that's fine. But I doubt that. That's why you need to do it immediately. So if there are issues, like one of the steps in those instructions is for you to find that research article, and people who are doing the same revision as you have been having issues with that. So don't wait until November 3rd. Do it now.
I am doing it now. I just had some other assignments to take care of as well. I'm doing
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
assignments.
Sorry for being harsh on you guys, but I can't allow you to start assignment 2 without. And Romain, if you do assignment 1 on November 3rd, this is the time the data have to be collected, right? So Irving, when will I get the stuff from you?
Professor, it's my fault. I only finished like half of it. That's why I didn't submit it. So it'll
Okay.
most likely be finished by I'll most likely finish it by the end of by like Friday night.
Okay, which is tomorrow. Okay, then I'm sending you to join Joanna, and you need to quickly work on your observation plan, which I need
Okay.
to which I need to see in the next 20 minutes, okay?
Okay. I already got the instructions for how to finish it. So it's
Okay, well, you need to prepare it and show it to me in 15 minutes so I can sign it.
okay.
All right, so you're going to join Joanna. Okay, Romain. So here is the other thing, right? Have you been successful or unsuccessful in reaching Irina?
Yes, I've been successful. We've been talking.
Ah, okay. So do you have an observation plan? She's not now present, so I can't. I can't. I don't need to send you anyway because you're all by yourself.
Yes, we have an observation plan.
So did you send me the observation plan?
Yes, we both did send it to you.
When was that?
This was sent out on October 26th. I sent it and she sent it.
October 26th. And
Information next to it.
your group 11. Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, good. So, do you have it in front of you now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I will make you a co-host so you can share your plan on the screen so I can see it. So give me a second. I need to get to you and make a co-host. Yes.
You can see my screen.
1 second. Now you can. So share this. You see the green button at the bottom that says share screen? So click on that.